On today's Ask a Wizard Life Hacks, we're going to be teaching you a magic trick that was requested by one of you, the audience members. On one of our comments, Anatoly asked, "What's a magic trick I can do to impress a girl?" Well, today we're going to teach you, Anatoly, a great trick that you can use to impress the girl that you may like. So what's great about this is it doesn't require anything but your voice. You don't have to have anything on you, and it works really well if you're trying to impress a girl that you want to go on a date with, because it's going to start teaching you about things that they like and that you might have in common, which is really the secret if you're trying to impress the girl, is to get to know her and find common interest and see if there's a connection. So the way to do that is personality psychic test. So basically what these are is it kind of makes you look like you're a psychic, but really what they are utilizing is psychology. So they're kind of like, if you've ever taken those personality quizzes online, but these ones have a little bit of science behind them and they typically work. The easiest one is the 3-question test, and that's the one I'm going to be teaching you guys today. So the trick to starting the 3-question test is opening up with like, hey, I learned this personality test on the internet. It taught me some cool psychological tricks. Or you could tell them a magician taught you, an actual wizard, and see if it's going to work for them. That gets the ball rolling and gets you into the question. Typically that'll perk their interest and they'll be like, ooh, personality quiz. Everyone likes to talk about themselves, and that's why this trick is so effective, is you're essentially giving a person the opportunity to talk about themselves. And if you want to learn more about that, I'd recommend the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a great book to get if you're looking to impress girls or people in general and just have better and happier relationships. All right, so the 3 questions you're going to be asking is, the first one will be, if you were a color, what color would you be and why? The second question is, what animal would your friends say that you're the most like? And the final one is, imagine your dream vacation, and why is that your dream vacation? You're going to ask these all 3 in a row, and don't give a response until you've asked all 3. Now the key here, and it's kind of the trick, is that last part of each of those sentences is the and why. So when you ask and why, you want to remember whatever their answer is to the question, and that's where you're going to essentially look like a psychic reader. What you're going to do with that information is pretty simple. To do the trick, you then go down each of the questions and explain what the hidden meaning of fill in the blank question. So for example, the color one. We asked, if you were a color, what color would you be and why? Then you would go and say they said red. You'd say, oh, you picked the color red. Well, what red represents, and what red represents is whatever they described as themselves. And that's kind of the trick. It's playing on their memory of them essentially forgetting that they just told you why they think that color represents them. So for example, maybe they say it's red because they're very passionate and can get maybe a little hot-tempered. And so you can basically take that and just say that back to them with slightly different language. For example, you could say, oh, you picked red. Well, red is a color that is typically, it's fiery, gets a little energetic sometimes, and maybe a little too energetic can get you in trouble. And so what I've just done is said what the person had told me earlier, just in a different way. And now it kind of sounds like a psychic reading. The second question is the same way. The only difference is you ask them to tell you what their friends would name them, and then you just tell them, oh, well, what this animal tells me is what you think your friends think of you, and then you just tell them back to them, and you're just telling them back the information they gave you before. I think I'm like a dolphin, or my friends would say I'm like a dolphin because I'm fast and I like to swim. And you could say, you picked a dolphin, and here's another little subtle tip here from cold reading. Slipping in a compliment is a very effective strategy. People will always agree with a compliment, whether it's true or not. So you could be like, oh, I think I'm a dolphin. Oh, well, the dolphin, people who are like dolphins are typically very intelligent and playful and outgoing, and they work well in teams and they like to talk. So those are, you're just taking whatever they said, changing it up a little bit, slipping compliments here and there, and then that's it. The third one is the vacation. You're basically asking them what their ideal life is like, what would be an ideal adventure for them, vacation for them. And that's giving you valuable information that you just kind of tell them back to them. And that's a good one, and this is why this is such a great trick for impressing someone, impressing a girl, is that kind of segues off into getting a deeper conversation going, because you've asked them what their ideal place is, and rather than do the psychic reading and tell them back, you can be like, oh, and you know, I like that because of X, Y, and Z, or my ideal is, and it lets you branch the conversation off later, and then you can get to know each other. And that's pretty much it. That's all you have to do the 3-question test. What I would recommend doing is doing a few magic tricks first. You can learn some of them in my video. We just released a rubber band trick that you can do with just a couple rubber bands wrapped around your wrist. And then starting with the 3-question personality test. Now you've gotten their attention, and you've done a little bit of illusions, and then you can start building that conversation. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe below and comment your own questions. If you have any questions for me, let me know. And also shout out to the Redditor who gave me advice to improve my camera skills. I've done that by acquiring someone to hold the camera for me. So I have started watching the tutorials. I'm gonna find the ones that are good. I found one, but it was like from the iPhone 4. So yeah, we're gonna have to find some better videos. If you got any, send them over. But thank you for your feedback, and we're gonna work to get that even better. Thank you.